Good Friday morning, everyone. I am Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you with the Weekend Big Show, powered by Law Dog Sports. And what a weekend it is becoming. A lot of basketball, a lot of all three levels of basketball, really, and just so much stuff going on. And we are here to talk about it with you on our YouTube channel at Law Dog Sports. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X at Law Dog Sports. Go to the website and get links to all of our podcast pages, lawdogsports.com. Jeremy Schroeder, the ruler of the airways, joining me here today as he always does. And if you want to join in on the fun, we invite you to comment on our YouTube channel while we are live, and we will read your comment on the air. Jeremy, how's your week been? You said something about a vacation, but kind of a staycation, I guess.
Oh, yeah, watching a nocturnal beagle all week. That'd be the 5:30 pretty much every morning.
That'd be the cool name of a punk band, Nocturnal Beagle.
Oh man, it's not. I forgot what a pain having a beagle can be.
Oh, they're good dogs.
She's a great dog. She's just sitting here looking at me right now.
So obviously the Mihos are on vacay, and you're filling in as your dad duties.
Oh yes. It's been an exciting week.
I look forward to the day when I get to have grand dogs. You know, it'll be fun. Man, did you catch some tournament action yesterday, or were you tied up with a beagle?
Oh, I was off and on. I started watching Justified yesterday. I guess I'm just 15 years too late.
Yeah, I heard that was good. I never got into it. The Walton Goggins goggles, that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. But, well, as much basketball is going on, Jeremy, and we talk basketball a lot, and then baseball kind of jumps in early with us, and we do our best with that. And then I'll freely admit I kind of fade out by July. It's kind of just a hold off till the playoffs, but or the trade deadline, we'll say that. And we've got some great contributors here over the years on the program. John Moore from the what is it again now? The Texas Rangers Weekly Baseball Podcast.
There's an acronym in there.
ELLS, I think, is in there. But anyways, we share his material as well. But also one that has been valuable to me, especially when I was sports director at KWEY, is the Sooner State Baseball Report. And I'm telling you, all three levels of baseball, you can get great information and scores updates and things like that. And the gentleman who is responsible for that is Newt Huntley, and he joins us here on the show today. And as I mentioned, he's been on the show before, but we would love to kind of make it a little more frequent, especially with collegiate baseball heating up. And Newt, just the first question before I ask you how you're doing is, does SEC baseball really just mean more?
Well, they want you to think that. That's definitely for sure. But yeah, I think so. I mean, I really do. It's exciting to see the Sooners in that league and just to see the matchups they're going to have week in and week out.
Yeah. So for someone who hasn't seen you on the show previously, talk about who you are and what you do with the Sooner State Baseball Report.
Well, first of all, I'm just a big baseball fan and have always followed the sport. I have twin boys who, as of this last season, have played their last year of competitive baseball. They played a couple years in junior college, but just as watching them grow up, I realized that baseball in the state of Oklahoma, I've always known it. I mean, but baseball in the state of Oklahoma probably per capita is just as good as anywhere else in the country. You may have a lot more bigger players, better teams in Texas, Florida, and California, but that's the case for just about any sport just because of population. But per capita, baseball in Oklahoma is really, really good.
Yeah.
And, I just thought that it was really underappreciated in the last number of years in Oklahoma. So this was just a way of me doing that. It's a passion project that I do and just try to cover and promote as much baseball in Oklahoma as I can.
Yeah. What's your talent at getting up-to-date high school scores? Because I'm telling you, there was a time I was looking for a score of Rattan and Ravia or somebody down in Southeast Oklahoma, and I would find it on your content. Do you reach out to schools to send you scores, or?
Well, I don't want to give any of the secrets away, but it's out there. I mean,
it's got a police scanner set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, that police scanner is Game Changer, and Game Changer is a really good thing.
Sure.
Almost every single team is on that,
Yeah.
and if you can find it, and just do it that way.
One thing I
pay a
found
little bit extra. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I pay a little bit extra a month for it to get certain features, but yeah, everybody's pretty much on Game Changer, and then I've fortunately built up a good enough reputation that I actually have several small schools that will just DM me their scores after a game.
Awesome.
So
That's
pretty
great.
cool.
Yeah. When I was with Friday Night Finals at iHeartRadio in Oklahoma City, we, in all transparency, we just found scores online. You all right there, Jeremy?
Yeah, duty.
But they told me that back in the 90s, before the advent of social media and computers as much, that they used to call the police stations in a small town and say, what's your officer got a score out there of? So, and you mentioned Game Changer, and I utilized it a lot also. But what I found was, man, sometimes operators of the Game Changer didn't know how to shut off a game because of a delay, or you would see these incomplete.
That still happens. It's amazing how many teams play 8 games from midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning.
They're still in
how it updates on.
They're still in the bottom of the 5th innings.
Yeah. Or they just, we forgot to hit exit game, or whatever. It's just one button you got to press. But
exactly,
yeah,
it's and if that's the biggest worry that you have of it, that's fine. But anyways, so high school baseball going on, and we might get into talking about some prospects that you probably are aware of. And you mentioned the state of Oklahoma, the competitiveness in the state of Oklahoma is just astounding. And once a team makes it to the state tournament in all classes of baseball, it just really amps up after that.
Yeah, it does. It does. And, this has been a huge week for high school baseball. You think people think of spring break, it's vacation time, but no, it seems like everybody is playing somewhere, and we have some big events here in Oklahoma, but it's been interesting. It's been a really, really busy week.
Well, let's start at the top, and we'll kind of work our way down. In pro baseball, I know that I catch a lot of players with Oklahoma ties, or just flat out played in Oklahoma, that you feature on the website and your social media for playing in the majors. And if you can think of just some players right off the top of your head that listeners should look out for who follow the state of Oklahoma in baseball as far as major leagues.
Well, I think the most interesting two jump out at mind. Jackson Holiday for the Orioles.
Yeah.
Stillwater kid. Obviously, the Holiday family is royalty in baseball right now in Oklahoma. And going into starting with the club this year in Baltimore. Started with him, came up with him last year. Joined about a month into the season last year. Kind of struggled, but towards the end of the season last year, started to figure it out once he got called back up. Him and Hutchison, the shortstop, are really good up the middle for Orioles. But I think look for Jackson Holiday, have a really big year. And the other player, he's not in the majors yet, but the Cubs do want him to make it there this year, and that's Cade Horton from Norman High and OU. And I have a personal thing. I'm a huge Cubs fan.
Yeah.
So
my guy.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so I have I really watched that situation. But Cade, he got drafted in his first full year in 2023 in the minors, was a finalist for the minor league pitcher of the year. Went from A ball all the way up to even pitched a couple games in AAA, but last year was in AA, and then kind of missed since end of May, got hurt, and he was about to come back and kind of re-aggravate it, so they shut him down for the season. So this is going to be a really interesting year for Horton. He came up, he started with he was a non-roster invitee for spring training, but never really thought that he would make the team. They sent him back down to the minor league camp last week before they went to Japan. And, but Craig Counsell said that they want him to be up by the end of the year. Okay. And that means he's doing well, and that means he's progressing in his development. So those are two guys that really jump out to me.
You talk about welcoming yourself to my co-host, man. Norman Highgrad and Cubs fan.
Norman
Wow.
Highgrad and Cubs fan, man. Oh my goodness.
You just covered all the bases.
So Newt kind of took it on the chin in that Japan series. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they did, but
that was tough. I think I just don't have a lot of confidence in the franchise right now. It's terrible.
It's hard to be positive, but they're not. The one thing they have going for them this year, Jeremy, is they're in the NL Central.
I know, but I have to live every day watching stinking Anthony Rizzo play for the Yankees, and it just breaks my heart.
That's true, and he's not. Unfortunately, Rizzo's not playing anywhere right now.
No, he's not. He's not on a roster. Oh my goodness.
No, he's not on a roster. He even said he doesn't want it. He wants to play, but nobody's really reached out to him. Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. I understand about Riz.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's just saying, come home for Jeremy's sake.
Well, remember Chris Bryant was an MVP in Chicago, and the guy hadn't done a lick since he's left.
Well, that's a lot of it. Like, he's still really good when he's not hurt. That's the problem. He's just always hurt.
That's the problem. Injured. It started creeping up that last year in Chicago, and wow.
But I can. We can talk, Chuck. If you just want to leave, Jeremy and I can have a Cubs podcast.
I was just saying, take off with it. I'm
all right.
I'm here for it.
Favorite Cubs player all time. Go.
Ryan Sandberg.
Oh, that's a good
one. Not even close. I'm dating myself here, but I grew up watching him, and I played second base. So, and then this is really dating myself here. I mean, I used to run home from school in the spring and fall to catch the last 3 innings of the Cubs game on WGN because they didn't have any lights.
Same. So, grew up with Harry Carey. My first Cubs experience was Leon Durham, Bobby Denier.
The 84 team.
The Shawnometer. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the Shawnometer. I actually have a shirt.
Great days.
I actually have a shirt that says Shawnometer on there.
Wow.
Awesome.
78 and rising.
Sean Dunston.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Yeah. He's a good base runner, wasn't he?
Cannon.
He was good. He was a good base.
Yeah.
He could have been a pitcher if he wasn't a shortstop.
Do what?
He could have been a pitcher if he wasn't playing shortstop.
Yeah. You mentioned the WGN days. My introduction to Ryan Sandberg was in 88 and 89 when I was in college and actually had access to cable.
So you got to see him, the Hawk, Mark Grace, young Mark Grace.
Mark Grace.
Love Mark Grace.
Yeah, most hits in the 90s of anybody. Mark Grace.
I saw a picture the other day of Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor together at a game.
What could have been with those two guys?
Yeah, Pryor is the pitching coach for the Dodgers, and
that's what
Kerry Wood does still know a lot of stuff with the Cubs, and so they were over in Japan.
So, any other Oklahoma players that you think? I mean, just kind of on the horizon. I know Kate Horton's one that we'll keep up for, but I kind of consider Bobby Witt Jr. an Oklahoma player.
I've seriously thought about including him, like in the off season when I do the Oklahoma's in the Pros series. I've seriously thought about putting him in there.
You're a commit to OU and then go pro.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy played at OU. You're an OU guy.
Some of the kids that got drafted from Oklahoma last year, and one in particular, I'm kind of interested. Two in particular, and because I'm in Western Oklahoma and followed portions of their career, Cash Mayfield. The draft pick, and then also Caden Powell, who was drafted by the Astros out of junior college. And, man, he just put up some audacious numbers. But those will be some names I try to keep up with this year as well and probably need to get caught up with now in spring training.
Yeah, Caden Powell, I mean, hindsight, him getting drafted is not a surprise with the season he had at Seminole. But I think getting drafted in the 6th round, for me, I mean, I didn't see anything leading up to it showing that he was that high in anybody's boards or whatever. And one thing I really learned the last couple of years is, like, I know in NFL, I think you're wise to not really believe anything you hear leading up to the draft as far as, I hope this team likes this player and all that stuff. But the draft prospects, once you get past like the top 100, it's really just a crapshoot who team you're going to pick. But yeah, Caden Powell had a monster year last year, and that's definitely one that's going to be worth watching. I just hate the fact he went to the Astros though. So
I'm a Astros divorcee. They were my team for years, and then it kind of just became too much.
The trash can did him in.
The trash can did me in.
trash cans, trash throws.
Really kind of. I've already forgot his name. The short guy, shortstop.
Altuve.
Second baseman. He kind of did it for me too. He just should have shut up and never spoke about it and just went on. We're visiting with Newt Huntley of the Sooner State Baseball Report. Be sure and follow them on social media, Sooner State Baseball Report on Twitter, and I believe Facebook as well. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky.
There you go. Great, and also the website, Sooner State Baseball Report. Kind of a harvesting place that I found. OU and OSU collegiately, if so much optimism around the programs, depending on your perspective, but OU really is showing that they can compete in this SEC. They've got a chance to show it further, but Dallas Baptist seems to be the bane of all teams along I-35 corridor. What's up with that?
I don't know. I mean, that's just one. I think it's just one of those quirky things, and it's not a bad loss if you lose to them, obviously. But at the same time, you would love to get a win against them every once in a while.
That just seems like a team with a bunch of guys that OU and OSU didn't recruit that have an axe to grind. Just seems like that. Always has.
They actually have two commitments from signees from NOC Enid going there next year, and one of them. Kale Whiskers from played at Bethany. I can't remember the other kid's name, but yeah, it's interesting how they seem to do that.
Well, we do have Bedlam baseball scheduled for April 15th. It's going to be up there in Stillwater at Knight's new facility. Too bad Oklahoma State's just didn't even crack your top 10 in the state this week.
No, I mean when you lose games to Winthrop, not that, but if you look at Winthrop's not that bad of a team these last couple of years, but then they lost to what was it? I can't remember who it was on the weekend series. They got beat by last weekend. You're just like, what is up with that? This is a team that looking at OSU, they have a lineup now. I did see where this week where Miola announced that he is out for the season with injury, but they still have Nolan Schubert, they still have Brigham, they still have all these other guys that can hit. It just seems like their pitching just isn't consistent enough. They're still a top 25 program, to be honest with you, in the country, but their pitching just doesn't seem to be as consistent enough to crack that next level.
Well, and we can talk more about the Pokes, or we can jump to real baseball and talk about the. No,
I'd rather talk about this.
No, I'm joking. I want to see OSU. I want to see OSU do well. But man, like I said, other than that game against Dallas Baptist and one in the series against South Carolina, they really come into this series versus Mississippi State beginning today with some mojo. Yeah,
I mean they do. I think as much what I just said about OSU and their pitching doesn't seem to be as consistent. I think the strength of the Sooners is their pitching staff. And it's interesting. It was announced yesterday that Cam Johnson, the Sunday starter so far this season, is not going to be in the rotation this weekend. Apparently, he was sick last week. Tried to make the start on Sunday, didn't last, and then he made the start on Tuesday. But Crossland is going to be making the start on Saturday, and Malachi, they're moving him back to Sunday. I'm sure Sooner fans will not be reading too much into that at all.
I'm detecting.
But it just shows that how deep they are as a staff and what Skip's got going on over there. I mean, and honestly, if you look at Skip's history and who he works with and still works with once they get to the professional level, if you're a top level pitcher and you want to go to college, why wouldn't you want to go to OU if you're offered there? Yeah. I mean, to me, that just seems like the place to go.
I was going to mention that he's had really good luck developing these guys. Horton came out of Norman High, was great two-way player, and they've been very solid on the mound since he's been there. Good thing they got Reggie Willis to run that offense, so right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true. But yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nate. Newt.
But no, I was going to say, but as much as we talk about the pitching, I think their offense has been better this year than we thought as well. Obviously, Carmichael is an All-American type of player at the plate, but they're getting. But like you said, Willits runs that offense. They call it chaos for a reason, and they just beat you a lot of different ways. Now his son is starting to hit the long ball a lot better. I mean, he found that he got more consistent towards the end of last year, but Jackson is his average may not be as high as other guys, but he provides some power for him. But Jason Walk, to me, at the top lineup has been really impressive for them so far this year, and he's really done a good job of being a leadoff hitter. I think he's been on base I think every game he's played in, he's reached base at least once, and he's provided some pop. I mean, he hit the Oppo home run to win it last Sunday for him in the 10th, and I guess he hit another one on Tuesday. So
yeah, it's really exciting, and I think as the SEC schedule heats up, looking at some of the series they have coming up, March and April are just going to be insane when you think about it. Because as much as I've tried to, back in the Big 12 days, try to poo-poo on the SEC, I mean, baseball-wise, they can bring it to you 12, 13 deep.
Everybody talks about SEC football and all the other sports, but if you look at it, the SEC is the best conference, I think, by far in baseball, and maybe they're better in baseball, I think, than they are in football. And I think basketball this year was a one-off as far as how good they were, but consistently, baseball is the best conference in the country by far.
Yeah.
ACC is the second, and then it's Big 12 is not bad, but they're not close to the ACC and definitely not close to the SEC.
No.
Speaking of Big 12, when did Colorado reinstate their baseball program?
Is that a trick question?
No, that's not a trick question. I'm genuinely asking.
If they don't have a team, they've got a social media page.
Oh, really? Okay, I haven't seen that one.
That must have been when they were out in the Pac-12, because they did not have baseball when they were in the Big 12 the first time.
Yeah. What was it, Jeremy? We were talking about it. They played in a festival or something with Texas A&M.
Yeah, and there's it was 216 bones in the human body, 217 when you watch Colorado baseball.
Yeah, really, really pretty.
Which I didn't even realize they had a program again.
Yeah.
That's news to me. I haven't.
Kyson Witherspoon for Oklahoma is listed as a top 40 prospect, and then also two-part question, what are the chances that he, is back next year, or does he likely go in the draft? Or also, Willits' son, Eli, at Fort Cobb, and Fort Cobb is just tearing it up once again in Class B baseball. Any chance he lands on campus in Norman?
To answer your question about Kyson, he's a senior, and I don't think he has a COVID year, so I think he's definitely going for sure.
All right.
And unfortunately, I think that's going to hurt him in the draft because he doesn't have the option to go back, and so they won't draft him as high. But I saw on some draft board the other day that he's cracked the top 10.
Okay.
So he's going to be a first.
I'm not trying to poo-poo you, but he's listed as a junior on the website. So.
Oh, okay. I mean,
him and Malachi.
I could be wrong. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. You're right. I know he came from junior college, and so I just automatically assume he played 2 years in junior college.
No, you can't assume that anymore. They get 4 extra years after junior college.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm still my old way of thinking. But no, you're right. Once you say that, I remember seeing that now. But no, no, he's not coming back.
Okay.
The slot money and. Even if he goes like in the second or third round, which I don't think, if he goes in the second round, I would think it'd be the upper half of it. But say he drops to 3 or 4, he's going to sign for higher slot money than that. He's just too good. He's got too good a mechanic, too good at pitches. You listen to Skip, Malachi has just as good as stuff, but the results aren't there. But so I don't think either Witherspoon player is going to be back next year, to be honest with you.
Okay.
As far as Eli Willits goes, a chance of him making it to Norman, I guess there's always a chance, maybe.
Yeah.
Because his dad and his brother are there, and his brother's not draft eligible, and he said he reclassified this year so he could play with him. But when you're a top 10, top 15 draft prospect, if you get drafted there, the chances of you making a campus, no matter what, just aren't very good.
I think Lindy's has him at 25. on their prospect list, and Kyson was 35. Nolan Schubert of Oklahoma State, and then also Ethan Holiday, younger brother of the other Holiday. And what was his name again? My memory is just so
Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Josh and Matt and Tom all
There's
on
so many Holidays out there.
The Holiday. And so OSU, I mean, if they do have you know, I mean, they've got Ethan Holiday listed as the number 4 prospect that I'm looking at. Is he likely just straight to the draft, or is there a chance that the Pokes have him on campus?
Again, it's like Willett. So I think the chance of him making it at OSU is even slimmer than Eli going to OU.
Mm-hmm.
You say he was number 4 on the list. You looked at all the other ones I've seen. He's number 1.
Oh, wow.
So, and then with the history of his brother, just 3 years ago being drafted number 1 and going straight.
Yeah.
And his dad having the experience in the majors and can help him with that. I just don't see him making it to Stillwater at all.
That's an interesting concept. And, you probably follow this and can kind of clue us in on more. So this draft process, if you're Eli Willits, and let's say you're looked at number 15, what's the salary parameters? What's the outlook for your first season? What can you kind of guide us through what a young man is looking at for something of that nature?
I mean, so say I'm Eli Willits or Jackson Holiday, or not Ethan Holiday, or Gina Jackson a few years ago. You get drafted in the first round, and you're offered that contract. Unless you progress, think about it. You're that young. You're going to spend, unless you're Jackson Holiday, who just rocketed through the minors, you're going to spend at least 3 years in the minors, probably. Okay, so you're going to be 21, 22 when you get out of the minor and hopefully make it to the majors, and then you're still on that rookie deal, and then you've got 6 years in the majors before you can actually go to free agency. So when you're 18, 19 years old and you're offered that much money, that might be the last time you ever get offered that much, the chance to make that much money in your lifetime. So I know we want to say that money isn't everything, but
that's generous.
When you're that young, and and money is everything at that point. I mean, if you have a chance to sign we're not just talking about $1 million. We're talking multi-million dollars. We're talking 10 figures, over number of years and all that stuff. So, that's how I would look at it. My wife is an educator. We talked about when our boys were growing up. We never, discussions like that. She's like, well, I want them to go to college. Okay, but why do you go to college? So you can get a good job. Yeah. When you're 18, 19 years old, you get offered multi-million dollars. You don't need to go to college.
No.
At that point. I mean, so.
A lot of these.
That's how I would look at it.
A lot of these franchises build a college education into that contract.
Exactly.
So you are going to have that opportunity. Just not to play baseball.
I remember from the 90s, wasn't it Vernon Maxwell, Jeremy, from Midwest City, signed with the Yankees?
First round Yankees.
He was a commit to Tennessee.
Yes.
Because it was right before Stoops took over. And they had it in. I remember reading that the first time in my life that they had it written into his contract that his college education would be paid for.
I think Whedon's was also,
probably,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting concept, and we'll definitely be looking forward to not only this high school season, but the collegiate season, and then obviously the major league draft. And, it's an amazing concept that when a kid has a skill set and a pro franchise wants to develop that, they actually bring them in on a contract and not expect them to go play for a college in a third party system. But, with football's so much, more about the player.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a rant I get on a lot, and Jeremy's lived it for 5 years. So anyways, Newt, real quick, as we look to let you get out of here. What do you got on tap for not only, I mean, this is a basketball weekend, but like you said, there's a ton of baseball going on. I know Weatherford High School, which I cover or used to cover, is at the Tuttle Festival. That's always a big one. And then several others around the state. Are you focused more this week on high school, or are you going to really tune in on the college series?
Let me just answer that. Yes. No, but congratulations. Your Weatherford team got a win yesterday in Tuttle over Ulaga.
Yeah.
They've got 2 games today. I can't remember who they're playing exactly today. I want to say Chickasha is one of them.
Boy, they sure got rocked by Chickasha in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Chickasha is really kind of there's been a program that's kind of like on the teeter, but now they got Kevin James there as a coach, and he's kind of taking it to the next level there in 4A. But to answer your question about this weekend, I'm glad you asked. I mean, Tuttle's still going on today and tomorrow. The Edmond Spring Break Festival in high school has a bunch of games. I think they got 19 games. It's not just all Edmond now. They call it the Edmond Spring Break Festival, but there's games here in Norman. There's games, I mean, all over the metro, all the three Edmond high schools, Deer Creek. The one I'm interested in, other than the OU Mississippi State, this OU's first SEC home series, is USAO and MACU. There's a 3-game series that starts tonight in Chickasha. MACU's traveling down to USAO. They are the top 2 teams right now in the Student Athletic Conference, the NAIA. MACU is ranked number 18 in the country. USAO has been really consistent. They've been a top 25 team for several years now. They're receiving votes. USAO is playing really good baseball lately, and MACU is 10 and 2 in the league. And USAO is 9-3. Big series down there in Chickasha. MACU is trying to get where USAO has been the last several years. Now MACU dominated the league last year. Finally got to the NAIA national tournament, and was actually technically a regional number 1 seed, but their facility didn't allow them to host.
Oh wow!
So yeah, but I think they've corrected that. They've got lights now. They put lights up there this year in Oklahoma City for MACU. Okay. So if that happens again, they may be able to host. But that's a big series down there. And 1 game tonight. I'll be going down there to check that out, and then games 2 and 3 tomorrow, and I'll probably be going back over there to check those out too. So. Okay. NAIA baseball, if you get a chance to go watch it, especially USAO, MACU, Southwestern Christian, Oklahoma City University, go check it out. It's really good baseball, really fun, and really competitive, and really they're really passionate about what they do.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because of my time at OCU, and got to know the late great Denny Craybaugh back in the day, and then also Keith Lytle, who took over the program for Denny, and Keith Lytle is pretty much heralded as if not one of the top batting instructors in the state. I mean, he really gets a lot of attention as far as what he can teach players, and OCU is always competitive. SWASU, they've got a series coming up in Arkansas. J.R. Head, the coach out there coach out here. I'm sorry, I'm not in the metro. He's doing a pretty solid job here in his first couple of seasons. First season, right?
Yeah, he is. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing on the Western Oklahoma, but I got to imagine it's not that easy to recruit to Weatherford or to Alva. I'll be honest with you, my boys took a trip to Alva to look at their program when they were in high school, and they really liked the program, they really liked the school, but they just kept coming back to, man, it's Alva.
Yeah.
Ryan Bowen's really. Go ahead.
While Weatherford is out west, you're 45 minutes to Yukon and a Chick-fil-A, and I know that's important to
right. It is, but no, they're doing a really good job. One of my boys' teammates when they're at Redlands, Tyson Eastwood, he's playing third base for Bulldogs over there, and he's having a really good senior season for him. So they're really good. I mean, I think they're better this year than I think maybe some people were expecting.
Yeah.
The GAC is really interesting. You've got Harding at the top, and then second place to 10th place is separated by 2 games right now in the league. And the top 8 teams make the conference tournament, and SWASU's in that mix right there, in that middle group right there.
That's all you can ask for most of the time is just be in the mix. I mean, and I think in Division II, it lends itself to be just get into the tournament and then see what you can do. But anyways, well, I tell you, man, we could talk baseball for a full hour. But I know you probably got things to do and stuff to cover, and with the website and the social media, man, you get so much out there and so much done. And it's just impressive to have that one central area or that one central place where you can really find out about Oklahoma baseball.
Well, I appreciate that, and like I said, it's a passion project of mine. I have a lot of fun doing it. Sometimes I feel like you do it too much, but you know what? It's just, I mean, some people like to read, some people like to do other things. This is what I like to do. So
yeah, and if I focused more of my attention and energy on this podcast instead of losing golf balls at Romano's, I'd probably have us further along. So, anyways, Jeremy, anything for Newt Huntley before he checks out?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, listen, man, love to touch back with you maybe sometime before the NAIA and Division II playoffs. Also, anytime around the high school playoffs, we can do. I've got my Western Oklahoma Sports Night podcast where we kind of focus more on things out here, but we'll definitely keep up with your content online and also promote you as best we can and get people steered towards the website and your platforms.
All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me come on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. And man, it's great to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Oh, it's nice to talk to another Cubs fan.
Yeah, fellow Cubs fan.
Oh, yeah, Cubs fan. How about that? I don't know if I know what I'm talking about, but I can BS with the best of them. How about that?
You do.
Nice.
Anyway, he's Newt Huntley from the Sooner State Baseball Report. Check them out on social media, Sooner State Baseball Report. I prefer the Twitter, but he is on all of these social media platforms, and you can get all the up-to-date information about what's going on in baseball in the state of Oklahoma there, Sooner State Baseball Report .com as well. So, Newt Huntley, thanks for joining us, buddy. Have a great one.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, buddy. Newt Huntley, and man, Jeremy, what an impressive visit there. I mean, we got some draft previews, we got some player prospect previews. I mean, we might maybe before the beginning of opening day get Newt and John Moore on at the same time and just have them
just
fight
sit
it
back and watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I tell you, baseball is in the wings, and I'm ready for it. I'm going to probably deep dive into my MLB reviews this week, and really, I've said that for a month now. But basketball is over for me. And how about those state champion Weatherford Eagles, baby?
How about that, man? That is awesome. Congratulations to you.
Thanks,
man.
Congratulations
as the voice of kids. Awesome.
As the voice of Weatherford athletics, I tell you, I've lived and died with those young men and the young women as well, and to have made the state finals in Class 4A the past 2 years and fallen, I mean, you look at it in its perspective, but man, in the moment, you just think we got to win this. We can't drop another one, and they finished it. And what an amazing final 8 seconds in that game is. OU Sooner football commit C.J. Nixon hits a 16, 17-foot jumper from the free throw line to seal the win or go ahead. And it was just a beautiful shot. And I've yet to see a kid. There's a lot of kids who can really finish around the bucket, Jeremy, but the touch that C.J. has in the mid-range and then also down low, if he was 6'9", he probably would be going to a blue blood in collegiate basketball. I'll just say that.
Yeah, well, he's not. So I'm glad he's coming to OU to play football. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
For him not being 6'9", he can come to OU and
sure
set the edge or catch some passes in the seam. Maybe he'll be a tight end. Who knows?
I would love to see him also. Because edge rusher. I mean, that seems to be where BV is really focusing a lot of attention. Him and Chavis really bring in. I mean, the competition level at edge, and I'm not saying CJ can't do it, but I'm telling you, his skill set as a tight end or a hybrid could definitely be utilized, and then also who knows? Porter Moser might see if he wants to come in late in the season and play a little hoops action. You never know. But
you're assuming Porter Moser is going to be the head coach
that's
next
very
season.
true, and many reasons could be for that. But anyways, we'll get to collegiate basketball here in just a minute. But just congratulations to head coach Derek Bull, his assistants Kyle Mickley and Jet Snowden, and also Adrian Lay, and just an amazing run they've had for 4 seasons, Jeremy. That's the thing about it. And we live in such a world where rings and championships are just the do-all, end-all. When a team makes a run like that, and trust me, I look back and I think, gosh, that team could have three-peated in some form or fashion.
Yep.
But you look back and you just enjoy the ride and you think, okay, they were great. And it's the same way with with the Buffalo Bills. They lost 4 in a row, but I mean, they dominated the AFC and got to 4 straight Super Bowls. That's pretty unheralded. So you have to, I think perspective comes a long way, and you're always disappointed to lose, but still, especially in high school sports, just to get to a championship game, there's so many programs, so many players that just never even come close. And to get there and finish the job was pretty amazing.
Yeah, especially after losing 2, just to have the tenacity to get back for a third and to win, it probably makes it just so much sweeter just to get that one after dropping the first 2 like they did.
I could sense a pretty large sense of release. Not necessary relief, but release as the boys, Ethan Sage, Tate Sage, both of them committed to play at the next level. Walker Kennedy came in as a transfer from Piedmont for his senior year, and then Jackson Smith, the other starter.
Just the fortitude. That game's tight at the end. They've been in 2 tight games in a row.
Yeah,
just to not roll over, just to have the clutch gene, I guess, to
the chutzpah
close out, which is the chutzpah, the moxie, if you will, to close it out. And,
well, and I think of it in this term, Jeremy, those 3 players were freshmen in the 2022 season. There were 2 senior guards and 1 sophomore forward. Nate Rehrman was on that team. They're in the semifinals against Victory Christian. They trailed. They're coming off a major night by their point guard, Cade Jennings, who hit like 8 3-pointers against Heritage Hall the night before. He goes out the next night in the semifinals, can't hit the side of a barn, but still they're in it. And CJ takes a right elbow jumper, I think to tie it, if I remember right, and misses, and then, you have to foul and all that stuff. So scores can look askew. Then the next season, they're in the finals against Douglas, and they come back from an 18-point deficit. They have a 3-pointer that can win the game, or they give them the lead late, and Jackson Smith misses that one. And he was wide open. They were focusing on every other player but him. You can't pass up that shot. It just didn't go in. Then the next season, CJ has a chance to win it and keep from going to overtime after Douglas came back from 16 down and got fouled pretty bad. But refs swallow their whistles. But anyway, CJ can't hit the shot to win it at the end of regulation. They go in overtime and fall. And then this year, he had a 6'7" guy who's got a major wingspan in his face on that shot. The kid from Crossings knew CJ's spot. He came right to it, but he got the shot up and it went in. It was just beautiful. So just an amazing run for me as a play-by-play also, because just to be a part of that much success, especially in my first legitimate a real play-by-play sports job has just been an amazing turn for me. So I can't discount that. But anyway, congratulations to the Weatherford Eagles. And the YouTube feed that I have, Jeremy, keeps showing Newt Huntley. I don't know if it's not updating or what.
I don't have that.
We do have Dan Narva checking in. He says he remembers Cade Jennings, so thanks for checking in from Michigan, Dan. And Dan's rival, the Michigan Wolverines, got past who was it last night?
Gosh, dang it!
Let me pull up a bracket.
Look what you did to me.
I guess it's updated right, but there for a second when I pulled up the YouTube live, it had it still had.
I just had to scroll all the way to the end. Let's see, college basketball. Who did they play? Man,
yeah. Let me go to
UC San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, and so now there's San Diego State and there's UC San Diego. Isn't there also a San Diego University?
I want to say UC San Diego is San Diego, but
would they be the same?
I don't know. It could be. It's all part of the UC college system.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. Who knows?
So a lot of action yesterday. I was forced to focus on the Arkansas and Kansas game, but it really kind of was probably the must-see TV of day one, and it really didn't disappoint. I mean, two teams got out there that have disappointed their fan bases throughout the season, and then one team came away with the winner, and that's Coach Cal and the Arkansas Razorbacks.
I was a little shocked by that. I picked Kansas. I picked Arkansas. I just had a feeling that Kansas isn't very good this year.
Yeah.
And I think we've overstated how good the SEC is. Georgia got housed by Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah.
In that 8-9 game. Man, and Louisville was ranked most of the season. They got taken care of by Creighton. There's nothing. My bracket is I'm done.
Yeah.
It's done.
And then the late game, or one of the late games, Mizzou gets beat by Drake. And Bruce McCollum, the coach at the Bulldogs, who's recruited Tate Sage, one of my Weatherford Eagles. Tate will be playing in Des Moines next season. Jesus, Chuck, give me a break. Sorry, Connor. Why is Jeremy looking like a cherub with no beard? Yeah, what's up with the? I shaved too, but that's been a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's starting to warm up. Upkeep is getting a little irritating, and the allergies get trapped in the beard. But, it's better now.
So the SEC has A&M get past Yale, and then also it was Tennessee over Wofford, 77-62. But like I said, Georgia, Missouri, and then Auburn rolled, obviously. Georgia, Missouri kind of dropped the ball for the SEC as well as Texas on the play-in game. So out of 14 teams, that, by my math, narrows it down to 11 now. And day two action is upon us in about 2 hours. So it could be a bloodletting as far as all of the hype and promo that the SEC had. Now, Arkansas, luckily for them, they did get past Kansas, but I just don't see a whole lot other than OU could drop to Connecticut today.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
UConn's won 12 straight NCAA tournament games.
Yeah. That's Dan Hurley's wheelhouse.
And they've won 2 straight
titles.
NCAA tournaments.
Yep.
They're supposed to win. They know they're supposed to win. They're going to win.
Are there still, as far as the UConn basketball program goes, I factor them as a blue blood. And
they're new money.
They've won so many titles over the last 30 years, Jeremy. Over the last 25.
25. They're a burgeoning blue blood. I had a friend this morning tell me that Villanova's a blue blood, and I about fell out of my chair.
Okay, so blue bloods: Kentucky, Kansas,
North Carolina,
Duke,
UCLA. UCLA. Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean,
that's who I've got winning this year, Dano. So sorry, Michigan State's probably going to lose today.
I would venture that I mean, and as I mentioned, we're talking titles. I mean, I would put UConn as a blue blood over Kansas. And I'm sorry, Dano, but over MSU. I mean, that, like you said, new money is still money. And to me,
Yes, but the definition of blue blood is old money.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
that's where it gets lost in this. Blue blood, yeah, okay. They've a great program. They've won a ton of time. How many natties have they won? I'm on their Wikipedia page right now.
UConn?
Yeah.
99.
Okay, let's see. Championships, 99. Oh, they have 6 natties.
6 natties.
So in the past 25 years, 26 years, they've got 6 natties.
Yeah. That elevates blue blood status in my book.
They never made a Final Four before 1999.
Yeah, they were in that remember the old Big East?
Yeah, I remember the old Big East.
It was tough sledding in that. And
they only made, hold on, they're not a blue blood. They're not. One NCAA, one Elite Eight between 1964 and 1990.
When did Calhoun get hired? 90?
I want to say in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely in the 90s. And he won, what, 3, 4 natties? No, 3.
So 90 would be 35 years ago, right?
Yeah. So that 2014 national title, Kevin Ollie was the coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then 23-24 is the guy they got now.
Hurley.
Yeah. They've made a ton of NCAA. Yeah, okay. They just didn't make it. Their first NCAA tournament appearance was 51. They didn't make an Elite Eight till 64. But they started out in the Sweet 16.
We got some comments rolling in. Dan Narva, I think that can happen where computed strength of other teams in a conference gets upgraded based on having other top teams. So perhaps conferences can be overrated or underrated. And he gives us an example. Sorry, Dan. Let's see. I hedge on MSU. This is Dan again. He hedges on MSU as a blue blood because their success is under only 2 coaches. We didn't invent basketball like Kansas or grow. See, I mean, that's where I get into this. You know how I stand on records before integration, right?
Yeah, sure.
Rupp was a notorious racist. and they won a bunch of titles under him when they weren't playing the best competition. So I'm not here to do a reckoning on historical facts about college basketball, but I think when you're talking blue blood, yes, Kentucky can go recruit in ways that other programs can't. But I would think, 3 coaches with 3 national titles at UConn, that elevates them mighty quickly in my book.
Yeah, that's a lot. They have more national championships than Kansas. Can you believe that?
I believe it.
KU only has 4.
Yeah, and 1 they stole against OU in '88.
But that's the weird thing about college basketball. A Final Four appearance is almost as good.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good because my world kind of went tumbling from March of 1988 till present day. I mean, what little success have I enjoyed from the OU Sooner athletic program?
Since 3 or 4 Final Fours is about the high point.
Yeah, and a national title in football.
2 straight Big 12 championships
in my adult life.
Tournament championships.
I mean, it's been more disappointment than glory.
We got to watch paint dry under Kelvin Sampson.
Man, there was who was it I was watching, and I just thought, oh gosh, this looks like Sampson ball.
10 minutes and 15 seconds without a field goal against Missouri in the Big 12 title game.
I think Drake was doing a little bit of that last night, just really letting that shot clock wind down,
Oh, my goodness.
It's rough. But anyway, so tournament day 2 going on today. Yesterday, I thought was interesting in the fact that, like I said, these mid-majors really come to play. And even if because to me, I thought Texas Tech was going to get took to the house against North Carolina Wilmington. I mean, they shot, and Barkley was ripping them at the half. But
Sure.
here's the stats, Jeremy, for Texas Tech. Actually, let me go back to the team stats. They shot 46 threes.
Ooh,
They made 13.
that is disgusting.
That is just awful. Now, they hit it at a 28% clip. Wilmington was 7 of 26. So they just a little bit more than half of the made threes and a shorter percentage. But I mean, and I saw it, I saw it from teams in the high school tournaments. I mean, the three ball and the fast release. I mean, I just thought there were points of that game and kind of said the same thing with Arkansas against Kansas. If you would utilize your athleticism and, dribble drive to the bucket, make something happen. I don't know. It just seemed like it's jack up a three the minute you've got an opening.
The only thing that kept them in that Texas Tech had in that game was second chance points. They didn't shoot free throws well. They gave up 11 offensive rebounds. They got out rebounded, but they had 14 offensive rebounds. Man, let's see.
Points in the paint was even.
Total turnovers 13-7.
Yeah.
So they had 16 points off turnovers. And there's your
Wilmington had a big man, and I won't try to attempt to say his name, but conditioning.
I will. Let me find it.
Conditioning might not have been his forte.
You mean Obioha?
Obioha, that was it.
Obioha.
He was a big kid, and he was giving them fits down low. But Toppin and the Williams kid, they're solid. And man, when you have those spurts where the three's not falling, get it down and get low. And so many times, and I'm the number one complainer, Jeremy, when you look at free throw discrepancy. So many times it's a team that was settling for long shots instead of forcing the issue that shoots way
going
less
for the mid-range jumpers.
Thank you. We are Law Dog Sports. This is the Weekend Big Show. He's Jeremy Schroeder. and we've got a recurring theme here on this show.
All right, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Yeah, thank you. Defense wins championships, you little whippersnappers. Anyways, let's talk about your Thunder. And I made a note that said they're just kind of coasting, but really that's all they need to do.
Their second unit is a play-in team.
They really are.
I mean, it's crazy how well, and I know I beat this to death on these airwaves. The just the insanity of the Paul George deal. And then the roster deconstruction that led to this roster construction where Presti changed the way he did everything.
Yeah.
You remember? It's like, hey, that guy is 6'6", 6'7", and has a 50-inch vertical. We'll teach him how to shoot. And all those guys are playing in China or Europe right now. Like Hamidou Diallo. I just found out he's playing in China.
Yeah.
But, he went after guys that were more finished products, more well-rounded basketball players in the draft. That's why he got Jalen Williams from UC Santa Barbara. Aaron Wiggins from Maryland. Guys are just who can shoot and have more rounded games. And, oh, my gosh, it translates to the next level if you give them minutes. The hell you say? And they're just
Wouldn't you say that I would call that the Jalen Brunson effect?
Yeah. I mean, Dallas gave up on him way too soon, but they give up on everybody way too soon.
Dude came from a high-end program, or a very solid foundational program, plays ball, scores, at a nice pace, but also it's not rocket science. You can spot a ball player. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
They make it way harder than it needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why
how they do everything on the court, how they move without the ball, how they get to their spots. You can find a ball player.
And that's why we've totally whiffed on, discounting Bronny James. I mean, he had 17 the other night.
Was that in a G League game?
No, it was against Giannis, because he crossed over He crossed over Giannis and scored, and then he's already passed. I mean, this is how bad the LeBron camp is straining to make this make sense. He passed Ben Simmons's 3-point scoring or something of that nature. So that's like me.
So he's got 2.
There you go. But I saw it on a headline on Microsoft, and I was just like, what is the stretch that they have? I mean, where is the limit of the stretch that they will make to try to make this Jagaloon?
And with Dallas's loss last night, Oklahoma City has clinched the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Through 69 games. So, yeah, you're coasting the rest of the season. Get guys healthy.
Mm-hmm. Now,
crazy.
What's up with the league and this, dinging people, for sitting or load management or however they want to call it?
I guess it just kind of depends on which franchise it is. You got a Tuesday night game in Oklahoma City in a game you won, not on national television.
Yeah.
And they're dinging OKC for sitting guys. A couple of them are legitimately dinged up. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had played every game up to that point.
Yeah.
But LeBron, who's taken his 1 to 2 week sabbatical at the same time every year, is at his son's state championship basketball game, running up and down the sideline.
Jumping around on that groin injury.
Yeah, on that groin injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. It's LeBron.
Yeah.
He's excited because his kid's playing.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, and I've been the bearer of bad news, or I've tried, I've been a little ominous in my speaking, but I mean, I think I've been around following the NBA enough to realize they don't really mask what they plan on doing with teams and things. And I know it's conspiracy theorist type stuff, but I mean, it is the one league, I still claim this, that has had an official, get dinged for point shaving.
NBE. National Basketball Entertainment.
And I put out something to the effect that it's just entirely scripted. I just hate the fact that, it's going to be, I mean, the Thunder have a lot to overcome even at the 1 seed. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the playoffs in the Western Conference are a grind, and it's tough. But, I mean, the fact that Denver got past and won a title is stunning to me. I mean,
and I think we can agree that Oklahoma City and Cleveland are head and shoulders above 2 best teams in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Boston close 3rd. But obviously in the West, OKC's ran away with it. They got a 12.5 game lead as we sit right now with 13 to play. Like I said, already clinched the conference. Cleveland's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Does the league want to see a Cleveland Oklahoma City?
They do not.
Championship series? No. They want LA, New York. They want LA, Chicago. They want some combination of LA and Miami. East Coast, big team, big city. That's what they want. They want the media markets, obviously, because Oklahoma City gets a handful of nationally televised games this year after winning the 1 seed last year, making a decent run through the playoffs, falling to Luka, having a great series. More like PJ Washington.
I was going to say PJ Washington.
Shooting 78% from the corner all game.
And Lively. That was the bane of the Thunder.
Gary Payton Jr. or one of those guys.
Paddleford,
one of those juniors.
What's the kid's name? Paddleford or Pat?
Huh?
Dallas player. Big kid.
JJ Barea?
No. God, I hate you. Connor Carr. Chuck is going to be reading all the new JFK files with all this conspiracy. Always. And,
always. Yeah. We know who killed JFK. It's fine.
It was Jack.
It's not fine, but
Dan Narva's single elimination is a wild card. It is really hard to never lose and very slim margin of error. So I kind of agree on Final Four is being a good measure of success. Yeah, I can get down with that because you hang a banner for a Final Four, you deserve it. And
you've come out of a single elimination region. It is really good.
Yeah, because I actually took up for Kansas the other day on a post, and I can't remember what it was, and it hurt so bad to do it. But it was somebody talking about a difficult championship run. And I think Kansas that season, they had to go through a lot of really good talent to get to OU, and then to beat OU after losing to them twice. And that OU team was saying a lot. So it hurt to give any credit to Larry Brown or Danny Manning, but I had to. So yeah, the Thunder going forward, it's just kind of wait and see. And then, who would their first round matchup likely be, and who would you prefer to see?
At this point, well, where are my I had my standings pulled up. What did I do with them? I got them on one of these devices. So right now, it's looking Clippers, Minnesota, Sacramento, Phoenix. I don't want any part of Minnesota. They always struggle against Minnesota, no matter who puts those uniforms on. Doesn't matter who. The matchup against Phoenix is good. The matchup against Sacramento is good. The matchup against Clippers is good. Anybody but Minnesota.
Yeah.
Dallas is tied for that 10 seed, but they've got like 4 healthy dudes, and I haven't heard of any of them, so I don't think they're going to be in there. When's the last time you saw Western Conference teams under 500 in playoff contention?
That's true. I mean,
you realize the Washington Wizards have won 15 games this year and are still not eliminated from the playoffs in the East?
So the play-in, I don't know. Suns would be a nice matchup, wouldn't they?
I mean, that'd be like a entertaining matchup. You'd get to see KD in Oklahoma City in a playoff series, with a chance to get, boat raced.
Who would have thought that Minnesota
the Venom would be spectacular?
Yeah. Who would have thought Minnesota could feasibly be eliminated just 2-3 weeks ago?
No kidding.
I mean,
their last 10, they are 8-2. So not Minnesota, but they're in the 8th seed. They're 6.5 games clear of falling out. So I think they're probably going to.
They have to play in the play-in, right?
Yeah, they have to play in the play-in.
Yeah. I mean, and anything can happen in that. So
didn't they play in the play-in last year? Because they were no, that was New Orleans. I don't know why I get those two mixed up.
Rockets scare you at all? I mean, I know they're a 2 seed. It would be, down the road, but
they've got a good team. I know they beat OKC once this season, but haven't beat them since. And it was a huge game for them in Houston. Yeah. They give me pause just because they are long and athletic.
How is Memphis still? How is Memphis still in their position? What do they do? What do they do that tells you they are not a play-in team in the West?
Hell, they win games at better than a 500 clip. They've been really good at home. They're yeah, they made their hay against the East, it looks like.
I mean, they beat the Lakers early, but then they fell to them in November. Haven't played them since, but I mean, real early.
It's not the old grindhouse days with them, but not long ago they were the 2 seed, and they have steadily fallen down to the 5.
When does LeBron come back to secure the Lakers' position to avoid Denver?
Next week?
Would it be?
Yeah, it'd be the 4-5, right?
Yeah.
Is it 4-5?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, right now they'd be playing Memphis.
Yeah, that's the playoff picture I show, but I mean, they're going to want to try to time it right, correct? Mm-hmm. I mean, to land on OKC's side and try to avoid Denver.
Oh, they definitely want to avoid Denver. They do not match up with Denver well. They don't have a big guy that can handle Jokic at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all.
Yeah.
And, you got Vanilla Mamba is trying to keep them afloat out there, but
exit question, Jeremy. When healthy in this last stretch, do you get your regular starters out there to get some cohesiveness that you're going to run into the playoffs with?
Last 5 to 10 games, starters need to play regularly.
Yeah.
If everyone's healthy and they've had time to sit, good Lord, man, how bad is that? Who did they play the other night?
Charlotte or Philly.
How bad is that Philly team? I know they are firmly tanking, but dude, you got no pride. Give
Well,
you
they have no
33
player.
points.
I mean, isn't Maxey out?
Tyrese Maxey's out. Paul George is,
He's done.
taking his. Yeah, he's already in Cancun. Yearly, it's the Paul George tango. We learned that in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Clock turns to March. That elbow's going to act up. That knee's going to be bothering. He's got hand issues.
Quentin Grimes led the Sixers the other night with 28 points and 2 rebounds, and I could not tell you the rest of the players for the Sixers.
Yeah, they are extremely
Justin
bad.
Edwards,
But OKC
O'Shea
had
Brissett,
one starter playing.
Gershon, I don't know. Yeah.
OKC had Chet and the backups going and just absolutely crushed them.
Yeah. Dylan Jones got the start for OKC.
Dylan Jones and
11 points and 5 rebounds. So it was a G League matchup at the at Philly. But but they got Aaron Wiggins out there, and he got stretched out and got 26. So I wish, I don't know, I've got to get off my butt, Jeremy, and go ahead and get FanDuel. So that I can catch these particularly the first round games, and then the wife and I, we get such a kick out of watching the post game with those players, and
they are
the way they jack with Nick Gallo is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, one thing you need to watch for is when is Daignault going to start setting his, start experimenting with his playoff rotation. Whittle it from 12 down to 8. Who gets the bench more?
That's kind of what I was going at.
Who falls out?
Well, and I said exit question earlier, but this truly is an exit question. What do you feel as their defense going forward? Have they kind of slumped off a little bit much for your tastes in some games, or is it just kind of still coasting? Or because they're going to have to crank up the defense and get those transition buckets. That's how you overrule the script.
Sure, they're giving up fewer points than anybody in the NBA.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a defensive slump.
But a lot of that's from early in the season too. They've not been stellar defensively late.
Yeah, and I expect them to lock it down a little better in the postseason because every possession just means that much more. But it's easy to go into a defensive slump when you're scoring at 120 point a night clip.
Sure. But I think this team and what I'm going to want to see in the playoffs, and it'll be interesting also to see if the league and all of their talking heads that they pay kind of go against this. But, everybody said, the playoffs, it slows down and the whistles are fewer and far between. Well, you think about Oklahoma City's fast-paced scoring is predicated by what?
Rebounding and getting out and running.
Defense, turnovers.
Like
that, So will they swallow the whistles when it comes time for Oklahoma City to be starting a fast break off of a turnover?
Let's hope so, because anytime Hartenstein breathes on somebody, it seems like a whistle blows. So let the big German hit some folks.
Mm-hmm.
Get them bodies flying around a little bit in there. Let's go early 90s NBA just for a couple of series. See what happens.
For sure. All right. NBA is winding down, and we will be sure to keep you up to speed with how Jeremy's taking it throughout the last part of the regular season playoffs.
I'm very realistic about it. I've got buddies like Cash Johnson who say this is going to be the year, and he's already planning on the parade route. So I'm not quite there yet.
Well, they are extremely good, and this is the second year of being the number 1 seed in the West going into the playoffs, and this time by a large margin. So
last year, that 1 seed just felt like it was kind of by default.
It was default. I felt that way too. But this season, they've established themselves, and SGA, it's almost like winning the Heisman before the playoffs. You kind of hope I hope he doesn't win the MVP,
Yeah, he's going to.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I wish they wouldn't give that out until either A, the guy's eliminated, or B, till after the finals.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. There's no draft involved in it. There's nothing involved in it except you get a trophy and make a little speech.
Yeah. Tournament action today. We'll be following that as well. Looking at the slate, the 9-8 matchup against Baylor and Mississippi State is kind of interesting. Mississippi State a 1.5-point favorite. Alabama will roll. Well, I say Alabama will roll. There's always a 2 seed that gets beat. I don't know if Robert Morris has it.
I don't know this Robert Morris guy, but I don't think he's going to be able to, go 1-on-5.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Iowa State, number 3 seed against Lipscomb, Memphis, and Colorado State. That'll be interesting. I think I had Colorado State taking that one, and that would be a pretty good upset. Duke and
you got to judiciously pick 12-5 matchups because that's typically where your upset falls.
Mm-hmm. Ole Miss, North Carolina, Chris Beard and Hubert Davis. North Carolina looked like world beaters the other night, and we'll see what they do against the SEC. But it looks like Carolina has got a point and a hook favored on that one.
What? I'm sorry. I was reading Conard's post about our friend Cash.
Oh, you tell Cash that the Thunder will win it when he works a full week without calling out. Wow.
Well, joke's on you, buddy. He just did that.
Yeah. Coming from a guy who hasn't worked on site in how long?
Hasn't had to put on pants to work in 2 years.
That's what you said. Maryland is a 4 seed. Man, when did Maryland sneak up and become a 4 seed? That's pretty stunning to me.
That ACC bias.
Dan Narva's Michigan State Sparties they take on Bryant. And that's scary to me. They are from the America East Conference. They're 9-1 in their last 10. And that just has the makings of a Loyola Chicago or one of those things.
Just give me that Porter Moser crash out here.
Of course, High Point. I saw High Point ruined a lot of brackets yesterday.
Who did High Point beat?
Clemson.
Clemson, that's right.
And a few
freaking Clemson.
On
that
TNT.
Was McNeese, Chuck.
Oh, McNeese.
That was McNeese. High Point got beat by Purdue.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You're good.
McNeese, yeah, and former Clemson graduate there on the Cowboys and for the elimination of the Tigers. So, and then Oregon and Liberty, so that'll be the late one. But, man, it's just so much fun to be sitting and watching basketball. I don't necessarily watch that much in the afternoons anymore. That's kind of prime nap time. But but the evening games, it's so fun to see them go back and be on. The local news has to wait till 11:30 to be on most nights or during the first 2 days of the tournament. So brings back good memories of when I was a kid and I would turn on my television in my room very stealthily and listen to Gary Bender and Billy Packer call like a Pepperdine and and UCLA game or something on the West Coast. So, anyways, so tournament action going on, NCAA tournament, and then also the NBA still looking to wind down, and then also baseball is around the corner. I think I will shoot to see if we can do a big baseball preview episode with Newt Huntley and maybe see if John Moore can jump on from the Rangers podcast. So. A lot of great baseball action coming up, and we're going to try to keep up with it as best we can. We may. What do you think about fantasy baseball on the Law Dog stuff?
Man, I think that'd be hard to keep up with for me.
It is hard.
That's a lot. That's a lot of games. I hope you just do it weekly.
Learning is hard.
Aggregate by the week because 162. Yeah.
Well, you just have to
be by the week, right?
You check it. I mean, if you see something, then you go to it because I start out strong, and then I think the last time we had a Law Dog Sports Fantasy Baseball, I think a gentleman won it who just kind of jumped in and actually paid some attention. Last comment: Dan Narva, Middle Tennessee State, 2016, and then said the Bryant coach is Phil Martelli Jr., whose dad was assistant for Jawan and actually made Michigan better. Connor Carr, fantasy baseball is a slog. It is a bit. You know, what's funny is I see this advertisement on the back side of a publication that I purchase, you know, and it says build your dynasty and pursue the pennant. And it looks like it's got dice involved and playing card. I mean,
Oh my God.
almost thought this was an ad from 95 or something.
Is that like rotisserie baseball?
Yeah, it is. I guess that's what it is. A modern baseball dynasty is a rare thing, and so is a great baseball simulation game. So do you roll dice throughout for 27 outs?
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, we better get out of here. But we do have the Law Dog Sports bracket contest going, and then also Connor Carr, you are due a Law Dog Sports T-shirt for winning the fantasy football league that will be coming your way, I promise. So anyway,
hey, send him a medium to hold him over.
Goals, man. It's all about goals, right?
That's right. You can get into this.
That coming from this guy who's sporting a 2X right now. So, anyways, all right, Jeremy. Anything else before you get out of here?
I don't think so. Got a big game against the Hornets tonight. OKC's a 19.5-point favorite at home, and still have multiple people listed as out.
Wow. Such exciting product that they roll out here before the playoffs, and just an amazing run by an amazing league. I'll leave it at that. But I do root for your Thunder, for you and for Cash, and for all the Thunder fans. So, anyways, and at least just make a final.
Oh, yeah.
Get them in the finals.
It's been 13 years. We need to go back.
Yeah, and the tax boost for the city of Oklahoma City might purchase some new lights at the new big house. I don't know if you heard about my light situation last Friday during the winds.
Yeah, I did hear about
We had a lot
I was
of
going to
delays.
text you, but I thought you might have had your plate full anyways.
And I don't know if it was a situation where the power outages were that long, or it was just the lights taking that long to warm up. Anyways,
Yes.
Yeah, yes, and yes. We want to thank Newt Huntley from the Sooner State Baseball Report for joining us and giving us a lot of great information on baseball in the state of Oklahoma. Be sure and follow him on Twitter and all other social media platforms. Also, the website, SoonerStateBaseballReport.com. And then also, Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airwaves, joining me once again. I am Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. Be sure and listen to our podcast at your convenience on SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. This video will also be uploaded to YouTube at our YouTube page, Law Dog Sports. Leave us a message on our website, lawdogsports.com, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we will talk to you real soon.